Michael Voss.
Just over 20 years ago, the 6th of August, 1988, a man made his debut. A 16-year-old young boy made his debut for St Kilda. It was against Footscray at the Whitten Oval. 10 years ago, he stood on this stage as a dual Brownlow medalist, winning back-to-back in 97 and in 1998. After 383 games, Robert Harvey called an end to his glittering career. And his achievements have been many. All-Australians, best and fairest, Brownlow medals, Victorian representation, and also E.J. Whitten's, just to name a few. Tonight, we get to honour a champion of our game and the legacy that he has left behind. To members and fans, he was the ultimate role model, the one that everyone wanted to be like. For kids, they looked up to him. For adults, they admired him. And I know we're going to miss the Robert Harvey swagger coming through the midfield and hitting up a Lockett, a Gehrig and a Revolt. To his teammates, he's shown them a new way, a new professionalism, a work ethic not seen before. And some of his past and present teammates will also say there's a few things in 21 years that Robert Harvey hasn't also changed. He's still late for meetings. He's still got his helmet haircut. And he still loves a beer on a casual day. To his opponents, we're in awe of his awesome running power. And again, as we said earlier, being able to swagger through where space and find space where there once wasn't any. To be able to brush a tackle like nobody I've ever seen before. Staggering. The day you woke up on a day and you're playing against Robert Harvey, you always felt sick in the stomach. Because you knew one thing, that at the end of the day, I was going to be physically and emotionally exhausted. He challenged you all the way. I call it the football lesson, I guess, and halves, I've certainly had a few of those from Robert Harvey, or I call it the Robert Harvey experience. And about when he was in his Brownlow medal midst, I played on him at Waverley. And I ran, and I ran, and I ran. 2 kilometre surges with 150 metre and 20 metre sprints. And just when you thought you had him, you get to the stoppage and he bends over in the familiar Robert Harvey pose and you think, thank you, he's exhausted. And then he did an effort that belied belief. And what he was doing was he was not only physically challenging you, he was also mentally challenging you also. Lesson number 1 was prepare yourself physically and mentally for the contest every single time. 4 years ago, we played at the Telstra Dome, and I also, again, had the great man, Robert Harvey. In the first 8 or 9 minutes, or at least it felt like that, in reality it was probably only 3 or 4, we ran, as you do when you play on Robert Harvey. And I sort of thought, well, I'm struggling a little bit here, I've got to do something different. So I put my fist into his chest, which was met straight away. And it was like I flicked the light switch. And he ran, and he ran, and he ran, and he ran. And 550 metre bursts later, I was exhausted. Lesson number 2, don't do that again. He was one tough unit. It was only just recently at the AIS Academy, and he was speaking to a group of young men who are hopefully coming through as the next generation. And he got asked a number of questions about how he went about his AFL experience. And one of the questions that Harves got asked was that, he said, Harves, when did you feel like you made it? And Harves looked at him and said, I've never felt like I've ever made it. And that's where the gold is. Because complacency has never been a Robert Harvey attribute. He's always had a sense of urgency, a sense to want to get more out of himself. The while the list of the achievements that you look at look impressive on a CV, in reality, they weren't the driving motivator. He wanted to do more and more and more. Halves, you tested the limits and that of others. You challenged others to step up. You did it with a class and humility that you very rarely see. A family man, a legacy that he leaves behind, a new benchmark, a new PB for others to follow. Congratulations on a fantastic career. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Harvey.